All right, so water levels at the Vaal Dam have decreased and some sluice gates will be gradually closed. The situation is also the same at the Bloemhof Dam, but there are still concerns for residents along the floodline, which lie along the Orange River. Low-lying bridges have been submerged and it's left some communities stranded. Let's get the latest for you now from Water and Sanitation spokesperson Wisane Mavasa. Wisane, good morning. Thanks for your time on this holiday. Really do appreciate it. The attention now seems to be on Bloemhof because of that floodline. Talk to us about what the risk is right now.
Thank you, Iman, and good morning to you too. Yes, indeed, the situation is improving a lot. There is a decrease in terms of inflows coming into the Vaal Dam. As such, this morning again, we'll be closing two more sluice gates, actually one at 10 o'clock and another one later in the afternoon at 4 o'clock. So we'll be left with 6, meaning that the water outflows will be reduced from the Vaal Dam going downstream to also continue into the Bloemhof Dam. At the Bloemhof Dam, we actually also decreased or reduced the releases by yesterday afternoon at 5 o'clock from 3,600 cubic meters per second to 3,200 cubic meters per second. As of this morning, we are also again reducing gradually from 10 o'clock. We started to 3,000 cubic meters per second, and by 2 o'clock this afternoon, we'll be sitting at 2,600 cubic meters per second. And this is as a result of the decreasing inflows also coming into the Bloemhof Dam with the rainfalls having ceased for a couple of days now, and the water levels decreasing in that particular dam. Both dams, the Vaal as well as the Bloemhof, the Vaal is sitting at 114 and the Bloemhof is now at 115, and that shows quite a little bit of, reduced flow, reduced levels in terms of the water capacity inside those dams. However, those that are still finding themselves having to evacuate along the river banks, along the Vaal River downstream, as well as even the lower Orange in the Northern Cape, need to stay put where they are. They should not even attempt to go back there because since the grounds are overly saturated because of this continuous rainfall that we've been experiencing for the past couple of months now, the absorption capacity has now, it's very, very slow. So it will take a bit of a while for water to go down and for the levels to gradually decrease on the level on the banks on the river.
Wisane, let me come in there, please. So on the evacuation effort, I mean, how many people are we talking about who've been evacuated and where are they now?
Iman, that particular aspect, because the department is dealing with the water flows, we are engaging with the disaster management at national and provincial as well as the local authorities to activate such in line with the Disaster Management Act. As such, they are the ones that are better placed to be able to provide us with full detail in terms of those that are being evacuated, because as you can understand, the whole river system, the flood bed or the river bed differs area to area. So it's based on that as to which areas are getting flooded, and they should know better.
I was chatting to the Deputy Minister, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about the logistics around the opening of those sluice gates. I think there were 10 that had been opened. You've now decreased those because of the decreased inflows, as you're explaining to us. At what point do you change your mind? I guess when it rains is the obvious answer. But the criticism was that downstream communities were either not informed or not kept in the loop about the risk to them, to their property and to their lives. What can you tell me about that communication? How agile are you in keeping touch with them about decisions that you might have to make should it rain again and the dam, both those dams, capacities increase dramatically?
Aman, we started communicating. Actually, we did not start communicating. We continue to communicate on daily basis, at times more than once a day, depending on the levels of our reservoirs. From the time when the dam was going down in December and from the first rainfall when we started receiving rain, we have been continuing to communicate with those communities, particularly those that are within our groups that are managed by our operations teams on the ground in various dams. because they do know that there are water users along this riparian of the rivers, to actually start activating if there is a need, for example, for your farmers that would have put their movable equipment that they use to obstruct water in these rivers. However, because there are also communities, there are representatives within these groups of these communities. We also have municipalities, representatives in these groups, so as to ensure that as we communicate the dam levels, the early warning systems, as well as what needs to be done in terms of activating any possible evacuation or any action that needs to be taken on the ground. While from the communication side of things, we are issuing statements to yourselves and any other communication through other platforms, they are immediately communicating that messages through those platforms. Emails, as well as with various municipalities as well that are affected along the Vaal and the Orange River system up to the Northern Cape.
Wisane, how concerned is your department about the Orange River in the Northern Cape? We understand communities there have been cut off from basic services.
As I've indicated, the municipality, the local authorities, together with the disaster management, have been up and ready to assist, particularly those islands that automatically, when the river tops, when the water overtops the bridges as a result of flows, you find that they can't access amenities on the other side of town. The municipalities are always ready to assist them on the needs. However, what we've been getting down on the ground is that those communities at this moment in time, because it's just been a couple of days for now, the municipalities are guiding in terms of what is it that is needed on the ground by these communities, because they have requested that they do not want to rather evacuate, but to stay put in their homes, because they are not necessarily flooded, but they are cut off through those bridges, those low-lying bridges that are cut off by the river flows. So the municipalities are keeping an eye to ensure that they provide all those amenities, including health services where necessary.